Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at Mad World Tarot, Thursday evening. And yes, I am here again. I have the joys of solar power, and so hopefully no more being plunged into darkness. Well, let's hope. We'll see how it goes. For once, I'm actually looking forward to load shedding now, and we're about to be plunged into it. So let's see what happens. So that's my happy news. I'm back at the tarot table with some wonky writing I see. And I have got the Edgar Allan Poe tarot out on the tarot table because we're looking at a tale of mystery and intrigue, one that has been discussed on Twitter by Gavin Burrows. And Gavin Burrows is, of course, the private investigator who was implicated in a lot of these phone hacking stories and lawful gathering of information. And a while ago, I did a reading on him because he claimed that he had people were making up false statements about him, misleading evidence about him and his activities, and he was on it and he was denying it. And the court case, the hacking court case, and I've lost track of which one, whether it was this one or some other one, but had been built on this house of cards, basically, on this lie, as he claims it to be a lie, that he did all these unethical, illegal things, not just unethical, they were illegal. So he has come out, he's been quite outspoken on Twitter about this, defending himself and denying all of these claims. And he has now come out on Twitter and he has actually accused Prince Harry of leaking to the press. Somewhat like his mother did. Gavin Burrows does not make this connection. I'm making this connection. It seems to be quite a well-known and well-established fact that Diana would phone the press and say, I'm going to be at so-and-so club having lunch with so-and-so. There the paps would be as the people left whatever restaurant or club or gym or wherever she was. She was quite good at playing this game. I've heard it mentioned in the last few days, people saying, yes, Diana did. She would phone and say, this is where I am, and roll in, roll up. And so that was the merry game that she played. And obviously Harry would have known. I'm speculating that he might have known. And now Gavin Burrows has come out and said on Twitter, and I am now quoting from his Twitter account, Harry's people would, at Harry's request, leak where he was, with who, I would say with whom, including taking drugs. He created the rebel prince persona. I will add that word, persona. He loved it, Gavin Burrows carries on in brackets. He loved it. He would also make sure tips got to paparazzi. So he's flat out accusing Prince Harry of leaking directly to the press, making sure that paparazzi knew where he was on his worst behavior. Clubs, drinking, drugging, falling out of clubs. We've seen lots of pictures of that. He enjoyed it. He wanted the notoriety. He wanted the notice. This is what Gavin Burrows is alleging. And I have to say, it is all just coming from one man. It's not necessarily true. It's not proven. And disclaimer, of course, this is a tarot reading. And it's all for fun. It's all for entertainment. We look at rumor. We look at stories like this to look at the energy around them and see what the universe wants to tell us in an energetic sense about these stories. So are they true? Is it speculation? Is it opinion? Is it rumor? I read energy here, archetypal energy, and there is of course a disclaimer in the box below. Please read it. We're going to do a 5-card reading with the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. We're going to look at the energy around this statement. Is it true that Harry leaked himself? I'm assuming way back when. I'm assuming in his wild, misspent youth. Then I want to know, assuming for the sake of argument that there is some truth to this story from Gavin Burrows, how does Harry feel about it now? Does he deny it to himself? Is he trying to hide it? What's going on? I also want to know, because there is great speculation that Meghan Markle herself tips the paps off and says, I'm going to be leaving this sushi bar or this vegan restaurant dressed to the nines in designer kit. And there's Backrid. I'm going to be in a big yellow taxi in New York. There's Backrid. How does he feel about that? Does he know? Does he care? Is it a terrible surprise? Because most people operate under the assumption that he would be horrified if he knew. But this puts a different spin on things. If he himself allegedly was no stranger to this practice way back when. And then the final card of this 5-card reading is going to be, is this story going to come out and sink him? Because the paps must know, the paps must be sitting on this information. Of course, there is a reason why they don't divulge any of these things and why they don't want to testify, because it's incriminating. As Black Belt Barrister very clearly spelled out, and that's why you don't see any of them in court. They don't want to incriminate themselves, and they don't have to answer questions like this. But is at some stage someone going to actually come clean? Someone more perhaps trustworthy and compelling than Gavin Burrows, and say, well, actually, here are receipts. This is what Harry did himself. So quite a tricky little reading that we're doing here. Quite odd. Really, the story is just so strange. The hypocrisy of it, if there is any truth to it, is off the charts. And we have got the Death card in reverse as our underlying energy. Death is about change and endings and letting go of something you need to stop doing. But it's in reverse. It is really having to shed bad behaviors and toxic behaviors and end things that don't serve you. Let go of them. Give your life a good pruning and allow new things to grow. Card is in the reverse, and that does tell me that this is something that a cycle that he's stuck in, and also a death. And it's interesting that there is a woman there and a kind of a locket. Can't think of the name of the cameo, kind of a brooch thing. A treasured memory, a dear woman, the lock of hair that goes round in the box that sits next to his bed. Bit creepy. This is learned behavior. This is my inexpert opinion that I'm articulating here right now. This is something that has come from a generation in the past, from mummy. Something he's learned, something he's still practicing, something, or was at that stage, something he couldn't necessarily let go of. It was something that served and was useful, something he should have let go of, something she should have let go of. We've got the Death card, something, and I hate to say this, but it is true, it's been proven in countless inquiries into her tragic death, something that led directly to her death. She, or Dodie, tipped the press off to what they were doing. They were leaving that hotel, and there it is in the Death card. That Death card contains a lot of very unfortunate information for me as a tarot reader. So let's look at the situation in the actual 5-card reading now. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with the 7 of Wands. We're dealing with something that is indefensible. Basically, 7 of Wands is upright, defending yourself. You've got the moral high ground. You're in the right, and you know it, and you can push back. But the card is in the reverse. That is somebody who's vulnerable to exposure. They are not in the right. They were really in the wrong. And so this is very, very, very interesting energy for me. So tell me now, according to these cards and the energy in them, how true is the story that Gavin Burrows has put out on Twitter about Harry? Is it true that he did this? And I've got the High Priestess in reverse. Secrets coming out. Hidden stuff, mysteries that are coming out. That is literally what the High Priestess is about. She's about silence and mysteries and what's the word? When you join a secret society and you're initiated into the mysteries. But the card is in the reverse. Something that needs to be hushed up, but something that is coming out very much. Very much. And again, it's a female energy, the High Priestess, very much about women and the mysteries and the initiation into womanhood. And there she is. And the moon, of course, there. And we know who the moon sign woman was. So how does Harry feel about this now? Is he conscious of it? Is it something he's buried, forgotten, trying to keep secret, High Priestess? Is it something he's gleeful about secretly, according to the energy of the cards, my opinion, all that stuff? Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is a very powerful card. It's very enthusiastic. I think he thinks it's fun. It gives him a certain power and a mischievous kind of an energy in the Ace of Wands. It's adventure, it's excitement, it's thrill, it's a rush. It's here surrounded by books, and we're in a library. And so it does almost give the indication that people are researching this and looking it up. But we're looking at his energy and how he feels about it. I'm guessing that as he was going through all those stories, going through those however many hundred and whatever stories that got reduced to 33 that were presented in court as his evidence of hacking, that he was secretly thinking, haha. That is my very controversial opinion, and it is just an opinion. It's covered in allegedlys, but there is that energy in this card of sitting in a library, reading through transcripts, reading through things that people have put together, and this knowledge, this light that's shining, that's burning, this knowledge. To me, it's inner knowledge. It's, I know this. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not trying to hide it. I know it, and it's giving me a secret thrill. That is complete intuition. It's complete interpretation of energy, covered, as I say, in allegedlys. And it is all for the sake of argument, of course. How does he feel about this rumor, this theory? Again, for the sake of argument, that if Megan does do this, if she tips off the paps, tongue twister after a long day of drilling and banging, and trying to work with drilling and banging, how does he feel, assuming for the sake of argument that she does do this? How does he feel about it? Does he know? Does he care? Would he be shocked and horrified to find out that she was engaged in the same practice? We've got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is not shock and horror. It's knowledge. It's cold, hard fact. Basically, the Queen of Swords looks at something and she looks at it dispassionately and thinks, oh well, girl's got to do what she's got to do, basically. And so I think he looks at this and thinks at some level she's within her rights to do this. If she is doing it, of course, speculating. The Queen of Swords, that she's been so mistreated by the press and maligned and abused and made to fall sobbing on the floor, that if she's now in a cold-hearted way going out and courting the press like this, controlling them, dominating them, being very strategic, the Queen of Swords is very strategic, then good for her. Quite a very, very, very odd energy. And you can see how the energy of these two cards matches, which is fascinating to me. The secrets coming out and the woman who's busy. How similar these women are. The clothes, the colour. Energetic match there. Outcome. Is this going to come out? Is somebody going to one day hands up and say, oh, by the way, this is what Harry used to do, maybe he still does, here are the receipts. And so much for his accusing the press of doing all these nefarious deeds. He himself was complicit. Is that ever likely to happen? I got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It's kind of a no. And I think no because of the money that changed hands. And because this was a secret path that's sitting under the High Priestess. A secret path to wealth. It's in its shadow aspect because the card is in the reverse. Here comes Fluffy. Don't knock the table over. Ooh. The Ace of Pentacles in its shadow aspect because it's in the reverse. So something was secret dealings behind the scenes. Show up here. You can sell the pics. You can make tons of money behind, secretly. And so it is not going to come out because it would implicate them in wrongdoing. And I don't think it's something that anyone wants to risk right now, apart from Gavin Burrows, who is very loud in alleging wrongdoing from various people. I have read on it, have looked at him, and the energy around his claims. You can go and find that reading in the Royals playlist. But this doesn't look like something that is going to cause Harry trouble in future. Not the way I'm reading this. It does look as if he was up to some tricks there in the past, some behaviour that was indefensible, that he learnt at his mother's knee, possibly with that death card in reverse that she herself is documented as having done. A lot of people have come forward and said that's what she did. I think that secretly quite gleeful about this, quite proud of himself, felt that he was controlling the situation, showing his virility and his dominance to people. I got that same energy reading on the court case, that he wanted to prove his virility and his dominance. So that would be the Ace of Wands. Megan, go for it, girl. I don't care. If that's what you got to do, then do it. Don't think anyone's going to come crawling out of the woodwork just yet. We have got beetles. If they're going to come crawling out of the woodwork, it is going to be in the future. Because another way of reading a card in the reverse is saying this energy is delayed. That it might happen down the road. Someone will be emboldened and decide that it's worth actually spilling the beans. But right now, I don't think so. Unfortunately, for those of you who want the truth out there. And there it is. That's the reading. And thank you for watching. I'm going to get on with the next one now.